Hello, my people. I'm here again. Still under portfolio theory. We have been talking about basically, I said two things is very germane in which you shall be examining under portfolio theory, which are return and risk. So where the risk is denoted or calculated, which the risk is also known as well as in standard deviation. So portfolio expected return and standard deviation. So by that I'm talking about portfolio return and risk. So standard deviation is also known as what as risk. So expected return of two asset portfolio, saying that if you now have two assets in a portfolio, so how do you now determine the expected return? How do you calculate? How do you quantify the expected return from such a portfolio? So R bar is return is denoted as what? As R bar, which is equal to weight of A times what? Expected return on A. That is asset A and asset B. We have two asset portfolio. In that portfolio, you have two assets in the portfolio A and B. So how do you now determine the expected return? So you look for the weight of what? Of A multiplied by what? By the expected return of A plus the weight of B times the expected return of B. So what do you mean by weight? Okay, let me divide it. So where R bar is equal to expected return, WA is equal to weight of investment in A, WB weight of expected investment in B, weight of investment in A, WB weight of investment in B, A bar. This A bar is what? Expected return on investment A, while B bar is what? Expected return on investment B. Now, what do you mean by what? Weight. Take for example, the weight of a two asset portfolio is that what? Take for example, you have 100,000 USD, 100,000 naira as the case may be. You have 100,000 naira that you want to invest in project A, in investment A and investment B. Let's now assume that you gave 70,000 naira to investment A, you now give 30,000 naira to investment B. So the weight of A therefore is what? Is 70%, that is 70 over 100. And this is the portion given to investment A all over the total value invested. So by that we need to do what? To determine the weight of A. So by that, the value, the amount allocated to what? To investment A is what is known as the weight. So the expected return, the function of what? Probability with the return on such investment. So you have put the kind of what? Probability. So from there you have your what? You have your expected return on investment. So you have this, you calculate this by, you now determine your what? Your return by using this formula to calculate. So I said it before that after the theoretical aspect, I'm just taking to solve a particular question that we exemplify, that we treat, that we practicalize. We need to practicalize all the theoretical aspects I've been talking about. So now we have talked about return. Let's now look at the standard deviation, which is the what? Which is the risk. So standard deviation is what? Is the square root of variance. Standard deviation is the square root of variance. After cutting your what? The expected return from each of the investment. So we now tend to do what? To calculate your variance, which is what? Your return minus the expected return. So you have your variance. So the answer you get at the end of the day for the variance is what you are going to use as standard deviation. So standard deviation is the square root of the variance. I've said that after the theoretical aspect, we're going to practicalize a particular question. So we see how you're going to do or compute the expected return and the standard deviation. So also, you can also compute your what? The standard deviation using this formula as well. We use square root of what? X squared plus Y squared plus 2XY hard. Where X is what? Is what? Weight of X, weight of X, just like weight of A, depending on on the variables you are using. You can either use A or X as the case may be. Just know that you are treating what two securities on hand. So it just made the notion. So where X is equal to weight of X multiplied by the standard deviation of X. So we know the weight of X, you know the standard deviation from what you have computed here. So you have it. So likewise for Y, weight of Y multiplied by the standard deviation of Y. Y, your what? R is what? Correlation coefficient. So you use this formula where you are given what? Correlation coefficients. You will use this formula where you are given what? Correlation coefficient. But if there's no correlation coefficient, just move down to your what? To variance, and you do what? You look for the square root of variance to get your standard deviation. So this is what? How to compute the expected return and the standard deviation, the risk of a particular security of two-asset portfolio, rather, or a two-asset portfolio. So that is the formula for computing what a two-asset portfolio. So in which I said the major thing you are examining under portfolio theory is what? Return and risk. So how do you now have an efficient portfolio? You do this analysis for you to do what? To make fair decision for your company or for you as an individual investor. So you need all these things. I'm not just doing video just for doing sake. You need to apply all these things in your field of work, your own small business, your own business, as a finance manager, as an employee, as an employer. So you need all this to do what? To analyze, in order to make a certain decision for yourself and for your company, in order to do what? To contribute on quota to the growth of the company and to yourself as well. So at this junction, I'm going to call it a class now, and subsequent videos are still coming. I'm going to have subsequent videos on covariance and correlation coefficient. Also, what problems of portfolio theory. At this junction, I'm going to call it a class now. So stay tuned till I'm going to post my next video. Thank you and God bless. I remain yours, Abdurrahman.